Good afternoon, everybody. It's an afternoon session today. Both being quite busy. Introducing Peter and myself, doing Risk Watchdogs.
Hello, everybody.
So it's our weekly update, as per usual, just to try to keep you up to date with stuff. So we'll get crack on straight away. Over to you, my friend.
Okay, yeah. Well, the purpose of the Risk Watchdog call is to follow up on other information that we put out, to share knowledge, to raise awareness in relation to fraud and cyber, and also to help with crime prevention and things you can do to keep yourself safe. Thanks, Colin.
Yeah. And hopefully that's working, but feel free, if you've got any comments about anything, feel free to pop them in. If you've got any questions, we'll do our best to answer them in the short period of time we're on. Without further ado, so this week I'm going to cover the three bits that were in Cyber Bites, because the first one is certainly relevant to where I work in the world on the Isle of Man and many other offshore jurisdictions. So the Pandora Papers, the latest iteration from the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, the ICIJ. It's about 2.94 terabytes of data. That's not much, is it?
It's the biggest, isn't it, so far? I think,
yeah, it is.
This time.
Massive. So apparently the haul, if you want to call it that, includes emails, passports, bank statements, etc., etc. I've only quickly looked at the website, so I suppose the thing for me is it's been dubbed a data leak. If it's a data leak, that various views on that. It's something that's already known, really. A lot of it is from companies' registries, some of which are accessible. But there's also some suggestion around a secret leak or something like that. But it cuts across a number of companies, so I think it's unclear at the moment what is behind. Lots of people talk about the actual leak, but not many people are talking about how it came about. And some of that will be, I suppose some companies are now thinking about their own security, because could it be internal? Could it be a cyber? Could it be negligent? Not known yet, is it? But no. There'll be many.
I think you've actually raised the most important point, is that how safe is anybody's data?
Yeah.
But the other thing for me is, why are we tolerating this?
I know.
Why are we letting this happen?
Yeah.
And then getting upset when we find out about it, when it's how much of this is actually a surprise to anybody in the know? Why are we tolerating it?
No.
Why are we supporting these people? Why are we letting them keep the positions that they've got? Yeah. And we've just seen the French Prime Minister go to prison for a year, and nobody's mentioned it.
Oh, exactly.
Sarkozy's got a year.
Yeah, under the carpet again. And you could sort of debate. There's some characters in there that I'm not in favour of that have been exposed, but I suppose it'd be wrong of us to sort of discuss that side of it on here. But yeah you're right. How much longer is this got to go on? And I think the ICIJ have done a good job in bringing that to light. I suppose my angle really today is about our companies thinking long and hard about their security, because ultimately they will come under scrutiny, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one. I'm going to watch with interest, and I've had a quick look on the website, as I say. But it's going to rumble on, is this one, and I think there might be some sort of ripples that cut across other jurisdictions, but we shall see. But the second one was about Coinbase, which is a cryptocurrency exchange, and they had a data breach early in the year by all accounts. And the first time I've actually seen this, it was a flaw in the two-factor authentication system. Now, we've always told that it's two-factor is the best way, but it would appear that there was some sort of flaw. I'm not au fait with what it was, but I've got crypto, and what I also do is I've got one of these things. It's like a cold wallet, so I've actually got my assets. I control them, so I move them through the exchange when I need to, but I'm in control of them. The only thing is, you've really got to look after that cold wallet. So I prefer to keep hold of it myself. That's a personal choice, so that's what they call a cold wallet. And then you're in charge, but you've got to make sure you are in charge and you keep that particular device secure.
Don't have it turning up on a tip in Cardiff. Was it the guy in Cardiff?
Yeah, I remember that story.
Yeah.
When we moved recently, I was keeping an eye on that thing. It never left my sight. But if that goes down, that's it. So, and the final one was the Apple Pay vulnerability, which appears to be connected to, and I don't know if it's been fixed now, but the Travel Express thing that you can go through and you can pretty much tap it in the way I suppose you would an Oyster card or something similar. And they'd exposed a flaw about a radio frequency, I think, that you could potentially capture data. So it wasn't so much about the contactless side of it, because like many of us, I used that, but it didn't appear to be that. It was more about the travel side of things. But they're pretty good. They tend to jump on this stuff fairly quickly.
Yeah, they do.
But one thing, if it's still going on, then what we advised on Monday was to switch off Express mode until it's fixed. So that's my bit for this week, Peter. I'm going to advance the slides. Just bear with us, that's not working. There you go.
So in Friday Scam Watch, it's all very well as warning people about fraud and everything else and being alert, but what are you actually going to do if you're in the middle of it? So what happens if you've got a suspicious call from your bank provider, your credit card or HMRC? Well, the good news this week is I think it was last week, they launched the 159 service. So great work by Scammers UK. Great support from Barclays, Lloyds, Halifax, Bank of Scotland, Santander, Starling, the National Cyber Security Centre, and various people have really worked hard to bring this together. And what it allows you to do now, so if I've got the bank on my mobile phone, allegedly on my mobile phone, then I can dial 159 off my landline or vice versa. And that call will then eventually, hopefully, be put through to my bank fraud department, so they can, so that you can actually intervene while the fraud is happening. I think it's really good. It's a pilot scheme, so watch out, use it or lose it. And the other thing as well is that there are things already in place, and I just want to do a quick reminder that if you've got a suspicious email, forward it to report@phishing.gov.uk, and then obviously there's been millions received by the NCSC, but they've been able to do stuff about it. If you've got a suspicious text or SMS, you can delete it, but why not forward it to 7726? That will then go through to the mobile network providers for them to investigate and try and stop these things happening. Cracking one is if you've got a suspicious or a malicious website, go to the National Cyber Security Centre site, and it's a very, very simple matter of putting the URL in and what the problem was. And they've been having quite a bit of success at quickly closing down malicious websites. And the other one, if you are tempted by these offers, well, first of all, anybody who's telling you that they're going to give you, take £500 off you and give you back £2,200 a week later, you shouldn't be entertaining it. But if you are tempted in any way, shape or form, find out who the brokers are. If you're based in the UK, check and see if they're registered with the Financial Conduct Authority. Get used to looking at this site if you are thinking of investing, because they will also warn you about scams and direct you to other sites. And obviously there are equivalents abroad. But what I'm saying is just be familiar, be familiar, have these things at hand and get into the habit of using them. I always forward suspicious emails. I always forward suspicious texts. And I've started to use the suspicious website notification just because it takes me a moment, but it might stop somebody somewhere getting scammed. So you're not alone out there, but the sooner we can get in, and intervene, the best thing is to stop you losing money and stop you being ripped off. Yeah,
unless you notify, nobody's going to know. It's all right. People say, there's always a point. It's a bit like going back to when people wouldn't report what they saw as minor crime. Well, if the police don't know about it, how are they supposed to respond?
Yeah, the other one as well is it's like action fraud, isn't it, Colin? Like people say, oh, they're just a waste of time. They're just a waste of time. Well, if you don't report it, you're letting them carry on being a waste of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Report it, put the work in there. And as I say, action fraud, hopefully it's been revamped, reinvented. I always thought it was a great idea in the first place. It was just so poorly executed. And I don't think the name action fraud can survive because of its reputation, but it still is a great idea. To have all your frauds going into one place, all the data and intelligence extracted and everything else. And it's still, whatever we do on fraud, we've got to do something along those lines.
It can't continue, can it? I was actually doing some training this morning about cyber awareness. One of the ladies there was saying she gets 40 phishing emails a day.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of volume of stuff some businesses are getting. It's just so we've got to do something about it. Absolutely right.
Yeah, I've seen a lot at the moment on supposed payment. I keep getting notifications of payments from companies I've never worked for.
Yeah.
And I've got to admit, I remember when I first got one a few years ago, I was curious, I thought about opening it, and then I just realised it's got to be a scam, so I isolated it.
Yeah.
But that seems to be really in favour at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. And thanks, Mike, for your comment. We did see that. I didn't want to break Peter off mid-flow. Right. So if you do need help out there, just bear in mind we offer consultancy. We can help you. We do CPD certified training and e-learning, investigations collectively and individually. And don't forget about Iris. And whilst I'm on here, if you've got any budding financial crime investigators, have a look at the website. We are advertising. What we're going to do is make an offer that if you're an individual, not from a company, we're going to reduce the cost of that particular course to $750 plus VAT, which I think is a good offer. So if you're in that space, you want to be an investigator, you work on your own, then we will reduce the cost for you.
I've had really good feedback on the course as well from the last time we delivered it, which was last month. And it was all about giving people confidence, structured approaches.
Absolutely.
That was the kind of feedback we were getting, and most people said they would actually, that it did impact on how they would carry on doing their work on a daily basis. So.
Happy to share our wisdom and knowledge. Right then, I shall move forward. Your one?
Yeah, just the last one is just let's be careful out there. Things aren't always what they seem, so check it out. And I'm glad actually that the biggest point I wanted to make is when I saw the 159 initiative. I'm thinking like a fraudster because I've worked with a lot of them for a long time. 159 will never call you.
Yes, indeed.
Because somebody's going to try it somewhere, or it'll be a number with 159 in it. I'm sure 159, you probably can't get an identifier for it. But remember, 159 will not call you.
Yeah, maybe we'll put that on another slide.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Good to speak to you. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you want anything, any questions, do get in touch anytime, and we will see you next. No, we won't see you next week because we're not able to do one next week. We'll do it the week after.
Yeah.
All right, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm going to end the broadcast.